I would say no. 20 hours, I really had to push through those last 10. I don't walk away from this experience feeling any affection for it.
I think absolutely it's worth the price. It does have some bugs. It does have some performance issues. It also, man, it was just a blast.
We've got two conflicting stories here. Looks like a little mystery unfolding in the old weird West world. It's just the reviews, Coop, but they are strange that both of them have come out. Both of what I consider two of the bigger name independent reviewers on YouTube have come out with quite different approaches to a game I thought both of them would really like. From Devolver and of course the guys at Arcane, it's not anything like any of the Dishonored material. You've probably seen some footage of it knocking around. I bill it as a twin stick that wants to be a turn-based action RPG. The turn-based depth comes in the goddamn infantry and extensive multiple characters on your team. There isn't any real switch in, switch out with the combat. It's kind of like Divinity Original Sin in real time. That's how I build it in the Wild West with zombies and crazy creatures. I mean, there's really not a lot to dislike. I'm really surprised that SkillUp had such beef with it. Divinity Original Sin in real time, what are you? Well, that's a reference to the actual element system and all the barrels and oil on the ground, fire spreads, and it basically promotes the idea of causing havoc with spilling crap on everybody and then setting light to it all. It's got a lot of chain reaction elements within some of the map designs. It's quite narrative focused. You're playing, first of all, as a woman who's looking for a husband and had all of this traumatic stuff happen to her, kid's gone, and that was an angle I've never had before in a Western zombie shooter, so I was very keen to explore that universe. But all of a sudden you get switched out to a giant pigman who everybody hates, and the whole game is looked upon very differently. We'll get to that in a second. I want to explore some of its nods because it's got a great system of sight and sort of AI wandering circles. Some missions you can do by just being a sneaky sod, distract a load of people, get the key and let the person out the cell, no one even knows you were there. And it's really clever with random encounters. When trapped, the longer you travel, the more chance of getting set upon by a gang of massive zombies. But that always works out for the best because they'll drop all this cool stuff. I was just smiling for the opening hour and a half of this game. I was smiling loads. I was like, it's doing so much right for me. It pitches the specials technique quite well with giving you these like amulets or these funny cards to burn, or even like perk points that you spend on that purple thing over on the right there. You get like a shrapnel bomb and a Max Payne full on jump through the air, slow down, and that is just so damn satisfying. And the twin stick elements combined with it being quite a dangerous game, i.e. you can die within a couple of whacks, gives it quite a lot of tension, and you're using all the valuable items when things go really wrong and you're cursing yourself because you need that ammo for later. The ideas are good. And just whilst we're on the subject of good ideas, check what I've got installing. It's a no-brainer, isn't it, Michael? Now, the party or the friend mechanic. So I thought this might be shoulder button, switch people out, a bit like Dragon Age. You can see the battlefield from everywhere, take over the other non-player character that's on your team. Hell no. They are autonomous, doing what they want. You can give them a weapon almost, right? But the dismiss button on the menu when you interact with them, which is right next to see their equipment, are very difficult with my age to tell to navigate under high stress, and I have dismissed members of my team. I've done it all the time, and that one died. It's permadeath. She ran straight into all that. I would have protected the woman. She was an outlaw. I actually buried her as well. You're digging up and burying corpses all the time. I don't know why you should be burying a corpse. You can hide the Metal Gear Solid style in undergrowth, and there's a hell of a stealth mechanic going on as well, with wetness being appeared as an element, rain masking some of the noises that you make, and also a noise meter around you when a gun goes off. It's pretty crazy. One of the specials for the rifle is a silent bullet, and I did a Hitman style assassination on a bounty in just one clean shot right through the whole village and then just left. Doesn't get much better than that for $6.99 a month. So where's the beef? Well, I think a lot of it is with this pigman situation. I was getting quite into role-playing as an avenge-ridden widow. But Pigman doesn't have any interaction with any normal people from the village. You have to play the game completely from the back streets almost, and it really changes everything. And I was gobsmacked, but it kind of worked. But it couldn't help me think that other story and all of that world, that was something I kind of preferred, being almost detective-like with what happened to your husband and recruiting various people on the way to just boost your strength and team. There was a lot going on that I liked with that story. But how does it play? Where do you pitch it? What's it like? Is anything out there that is similar to this? And the answer's a flat no. I bill this as the thinking man's Colt Canyon. That's a stupid joke, but you can see what I'm getting at. It's exactly the same with the maneuvers, even a roll, but you've got so much on all the shoulder buttons and R buttons and equipment coming out your ears and specials going on that it will overwhelm you if you think you're going to approach this like a standard twin stick shooter. There's far too much in there with being swamped really quickly and having to use the environments and elements to take down a camp slowly. It's got that Far Cry thing going on where you can just get around the perimeter and just start peeling away the enemy onion. That's exactly the approach I took with one of the larger camps on the opening missions, and it just wound up with one bloke sitting at a desk in a room on his own. That was it. That was the last thing I had to do. Everybody in the entire camp was dead, and I didn't mind that took me 25 minutes and 4 or 5 attempts. It was one of those satisfying puzzles, sort of like the stuff you used to get in very early Metal Gear games, where you can see the solution, you just have to be patient and get your timing right. You can also get the zombies going. They'll be buried in the corners of some of the camps, and you just sneak past them and they'll just come after you, and you take them walking dead into the camp, and havoc just breaks loose, and you watch it all behind the log sniggering. So what's the answer to the riddle with Skill Up and ACG? Why the big divide? And I think that Skill Up was expecting something probably a little bit more in depth on the story front, and I don't think this game wraps up very well. I haven't finished it yet, but I imagine Skill Up got to endgame and wasn't too happy with the result. But from what I'm playing, and with all indie games on Game Pass, it's such a healthy couple of hours to whack on, and it will make you smile and think. You'll have a great little time. Just when you get to Pigman, be ready. On the subject of Skill Up and ACG, they are both about to hit 1 million subscribers. Skill Up may be first, and that can't happen. That's not fair. ACG is kind of a ledge. He's been doing it for a hell of a lot longer. If you haven't subbed to him and you're like me and watch him all the time and just haven't bothered clicking that damn button. Anyways, you have been watching Couch Coop, and I will see you down there. Thank you very much.